So in 1997, I graduated with honors from University of Toronto's Chemical Engineering program. And in the year 2000, I walked away with my master's. Essentially, I did what every good Indian kid is guided to do. You get good grades in school because that lands you into a great post-secondary institution, and that gets you a great job. And frankly, it did. I walked out with a master's in one hand and a job offer in the other, and I've enjoyed a variety of experiences over the last 16 years in my career. So in 2013, when our former CEO handed me a report on youth unemployment, I was surprised to find out that they experienced double the unemployment rate than everybody else. I mean, here in Canada, that means you have 730,000 youth that are jobless. And there's a massive economic impact to this. It's estimated to cost us $28.1 billion. So I wondered for myself, as a mother, this created a personal angst for me. What was I going to guide my kids? What was the winning formula? Because my get good grades, get into a great school, because that was going to get you into a great job, seemed to be false at this point. I suddenly felt incompetent in guiding my kids in their future. The thoughts that welled into my mind were, well, how do our youth feel successful in their adulthood if they can't secure employment? I mean, things like buying a first home, starting a family, or getting your first car seem financially impossible. And then it really hit me, were my kids going to live with me for the rest of my life, and I had no chance of retirement? So I really had to dig into this problem and find out what had happened. Why was that certificate from that prestigious institution just no longer sufficient? And so today, I'd like to tell all of you what I discovered as I decoded tomorrow. And most importantly, how each and every one of you get to own your own future. And it begins with why. Why are our youth facing these challenges? Is it because there are really no jobs out there? Are you just not sufficiently educated? Or are you all just too picky and not accepting the job offers at hand? Frankly, I found evidence of all of the above, but I discovered a fourth that I didn't anticipate. The traditional job market was completely changing in an unpredictable manner. Those roles that had been cemented for years were just no longer valid anymore. How was that possible? It's because we were moving towards an innovation economy. An innovation economy is all about inventing. It's inventing new processes. It's inventing new roles. It's inventing new businesses. Now, I'm not standing in front of you suggesting innovation is new. It's been here all along. So what's changed? It's that innovation's happening faster. And it's happening faster because technology is just moving so fast. Let's look at the gaming market, for instance. I remember being in the 80s, huddled around a Commodore 64, which most of you have no idea what that is, with my brother and our good friends, and we would play primitive versions of Pac-Man and Lode Runner. We didn't even have a physical joystick. We used the up, down, and the left arrow keys on the keyboard to move the figures across the screens. Now, gaming consoles have been released since the late 60s, but they haven't really changed very much for the first 30 to 40 years. And then suddenly, in 2006, Nintendo hit us with the Wii, and now that was game-changing, because the human body became part of the gaming experience. I was actually part of the joystick. And over the last 10 years, all of the technology advancements you see have penetrated the gaming market. Whether it's voice recognition, whether it's touch screens, whether it's augmented reality, which is just around the corner. So what you can see is that technology went from a linear path to an exponential curve, and so has innovation. So now you might be wondering for yourself, what does any of this have to do with the job market and the economy? I mean, it just yields us really cool products in the marketplace that we can all avail ourselves to. So let me make that connection for you. Those same technology advances you're seeing in the products are actually impacting companies, and they're impacting jobs. You see, if a company fails to innovate, it goes bankrupt. And if a job can be automated, I assure you it will be. And when I tell this to most of my friends, they nod emphatically at me, and they say, yes, I get it, robots are taking over the world, we just saw one, and it's taking over manufacturing. But my son or my daughter, they're going to be a doctor, they're going to be a lawyer, they're going to be an accountant, so we're okay. And that's when it hit me. People think that there are safe professions out there, professions that won't be affected by the technology disruption. So watch this short video on a product that I'm assured is going to get into the market in the next 4 years, and it's certainly going to make waves in the medical industry. Does the role of the doctor go away, or does it get reinvented? And what if the tricorder is wrong? Who's liable? Does our legal system actually know how to deal with these types of products? Do you see it? How technology is completely changing our lives and disrupting the entire system. So it's actually the perfect time to be a disruptor. It's the perfect time to reinvent because the paths haven't been forged and you get to just create whatever makes sense. Do we still need to learn medicine? Do we still need to learn law? Absolutely. But don't expect to practice them the way you're seeing them practiced today. Because what I can guarantee you is in some way, shape, or form, technology is going to alter every single profession. And where possible, it will eliminate it. So just like my kids, each and every one of you are landing into an uncertain future. And it's all about planning for uncertainty. So how do we prepare for this future where we have to reinvent and create new? It's actually about exercising the entrepreneurial mindset. Whether you choose to become creators of new companies or innovators in existing companies, you have to think like an entrepreneur, be like an entrepreneur, act like an entrepreneur. The great news is that it's not that complicated. It's actually looking for problems that are worth solving and considering different points of views and ways to solve them. But what it does require you to do is move away from the traditional mindset, that linear thinking approach that we've been taught all our life, or where we believe there are set rules that we must follow. Simply the notion, get good grades, get into a great school, because that will get you into a great job, is a linear thinking process. Instead, we have to think non-linearly, or consider you get to define the rules. For example, what happens if I take a piece of technology and smash it into a water bottle? Well, you create the first smart bottle, as Gatorade did during the 2014 World Cups. And why would a drinking company do this? Because now they collect data on their athletes' fluid loss levels, sodium loss levels, and potassium loss levels. And they create the winning formula for their customer. It's brilliant, actually. But would anyone have anticipated this out of a sports drink company? And what kind of jobs have now arisen out of Gatorade in the tech field? All unpredicted and all unforeseeable. But that's the innovation economy in action. So here's how I'm preparing my kids and why I co-founded ZerotoStartup with David Kwok to help other youth prepare for uncertainty. It's by getting them to work through that entrepreneurial mindset by focusing on 3 major areas: understanding technology, seeking out problems, and leveraging the strengths that they are gifted with and the strengths of others. So let's dig into these a little bit further. When I say understanding technology, it's not about becoming proficient in Google Docs or swiping an iPad. My kids actually have to learn how to code, and they have to actually try to wire up a hardware like an Arduino, which is just a simple microcontroller. And it's because technology, at the end of the day, connects every single one of us. So to participate in the future economy, you must know technology. And it's not that every youth must become coders, but you have to know the art of possible. Look at Steve Jobs. He was the conductor of an orchestra called Apple. He had to invent the uninvented, and then he had to get the tech experts to bring those ideas to life. And then I asked them to look at problems and see if they see a problem worth solving out there. I get my kids to tell me about products that they use every day and tell me what doesn't work with them, or if there's a gap in the marketplace because they're finding a workaround in what they're doing, and they just can't find a solution. And I say, define it for me. And then go out there and ask your friends, do they experience the same thing? Because if they do, you might actually have a market here. You see, companies and people don't buy knowledge anymore. That was made free thanks to the internet. But they do buy solutions. And Nick Del Soyo did just that. At 15, he was so frustrated with reading news content on his smartphone, so he created an app that digested that information into simple words. And he called it Sumly. And he got the attention of both Yahoo and Apple. And at the tender age of 17, he sold it for $30 million to Yahoo. Not bad, right? So companies and people, they'll buy your solutions. And the third area I ask all our youth to focus on is working on leveraging the strengths they were gifted with and the strengths of others. And I have to say, this one is typically overlooked by most of us. We spend most of our lives fixing what we are bad at rather than leveraging what we were great and born with. And it's as if we just want not to be who we are and we want to be like somebody else. So then we go ahead and seek to associate with people who are more of who we are or have the same strengths that we have, because we're just kind of shy to find out that we just might not be good enough or just like somebody else. But greatness doesn't arise with more of the same. It actually arises when you can bring those complementary strengths together. Listen, I first experienced this in fourth-year university. We had a course where our final mark was dependent on a group project. And we didn't get to pick our teams, and it was really unnerving for me because I was an academic achiever. But I learned that term, that the group strength that I had in my team outweighed anything that I could have done on my own or more of just me. Our engineering solution was because of one girl on the team who was persistent and strong in science and in math. And our business and financial model was because of one guy on our team. He was actually a bartender by nights and weekends and a social butterfly. So he used his network to define the perfect business model. It was grounded in reality and not in theory. And myself, I have strong project management skills and communication skills. So I kept us on time, in check, and ready to present at any time. You know, we would have never self-formed as a team, but I am so grateful that we were forced to work together, because that term I really, really did learn what it means to leverage the strengths of others. So who here still believes get good grades, get into a great school, because that's just going to land you the perfect job? Listen, I can't promise you that it will, and I can't promise you that it won't, but I can tell you we're in a world filled with problems, and it's actually the perfect time to be different. And please don't speculate when to start or how to start. Start now and learn by doing, and you're certainly not too young. You're actually at the best phase of your life. You're at the best phase to experiment with all of this. Look at these kids. They're a bunch of grade 7 and 8 boys, alumni of our program. They created a solution called My Bike. It converts a mobile bike by emulating riding terrains like an exercise bike. Or Hydro Home. It's a team of middle and high school kids led by a girl who's passionate about water consumption. And so they created a sensor that attaches to your pipes, and it broadcasts information on a centralized website. They know that they can't change the behavior of people if they don't give the information at the palm of their hands. In both cases, both of these teams are continuing to commercialize their products. Whether they succeed or fail doesn't matter. They're actually going to learn invaluable skills in product development and business development and teamwork. But what's even more exciting for me is that they're all connecting into the innovation ecosystem. They've presented at the TIFF DigiSpace downtown Toronto, and were showcased on Discovery Channel's Daily Planet. So what I have learned in my journey as I decoded tomorrow is that we need to challenge the normal today. You need to challenge the normal job. You need to challenge the normal education. And frankly, you need to challenge the normal future. Because what was relevant today will surely be irrelevant tomorrow, thanks to technology and thanks to innovation. And this future economy that everyone's so scared of, it's actually an exciting place for each and every one of you. It's actually an economy that you get to invent. It's a space that you get to reinvent. So go out there, my friends, and create your own future. Thank you.